You need to cancel your Paris plans and hand the trip over to Lily. You're the elder one here. Be mature about it. That single line cut across the dinner table like a razor, sharp and unforgiving. My daughter's fork halted in midair, her gaze dropping instantly. Next to her, my husband shifted slowly, as though doubting his own ears. My mother-in-law wore a satisfied smirk, clearly pleased with her own harshness, while her husband gave a mechanical nod of agreement. My pulse hammered inside my mouth. I'm Elena, and for years I've observed this family treat my child like an afterthought, a courteous nuisance barely worth noticing. I've endured the barbs, absorbed the subtle jabs, and convinced myself it was simply their nature. But tonight, something deep within me fractured, not with a crash, but quietly, like frost giving way beneath persistent weight. My daughter Maya, just turned 18, had juggled 3 part-time jobs to fund that Paris journey, a wish she'd carried since she was 10. And now these relatives wanted to strip it away and present it to Lily, their cherished one, their shining star who had never bothered to earn a single thing. I leaned close and murmured, "Maya, look at me," but she wouldn't. She stared fixedly at her plate, her shoulders trembling. Then, with quiet purpose, my husband Daniel eased his chair backward and rose. His tone stayed soft, yet the entire room fell utterly silent. What he said next drained the color from his parents' faces. His voice carried a gravity I hadn't witnessed in ages. But before he continued, my thoughts dragged me back through the long, stifling years that had brought us to this moment. His parents had always disapproved of me. I was too reserved, too self-reliant, too driven in my work, too fiercely devoted to Maya. Every family gathering arrived wrapped in remarks that pricked like fine thorns. The hardest part was that Daniel typically remained quiet, not out of malice, but from long conditioning. He'd been brought up to see compliance as affection, disagreement as insolence, and parental rule as absolute. Yet during the past year, he'd started to shift. He paid attention. He truly listened. When Maya began setting money aside for her post-graduation Paris adventure, he assisted with hostel searches, chauffeured her after exhausting late shifts, and ensured her safety. Watching her strive so hard for something meaningful seemed to revive a part of him that his parents had suppressed for decades. In contrast, Lily, the cousin, floated through existence without effort. No employment. No obligations. Yet her parents still whined that she felt buried under pressure. Pressure from what? Simply existing? But tonight's insistence on seizing Maya's hard-won goal and bestowing it on Lily wasn't merely unjust. It was an outright statement: your child holds no value. Daniel's jaw clenched. His parents eyed him with annoyance that he had the nerve to rise. He drew a measured breath. "Mom. Dad. Sit back down." He spoke evenly, but they refused. That was when he unveiled something they had never anticipated. His voice lowered to a register I'd heard only once before, years earlier, when a stranger had trailed Maya to her vehicle. Protective. Immovable. Calm in a way that promised danger. His parents traded a glance, the sort smug individuals exchange when they expect someone else to falter. "Daniel," his mother sneered, "stop overreacting. We're just pointing out that Maya ought to recognize her position. Paris demands too much maturity for a girl like her." A girl like her. Maya's posture folded inward, as though willing herself invisible. Heat surged along my backbone. Daniel moved nearer to the table. "No. You're claiming Lily merits a reward she never earned, while Maya forfeits what she fought to achieve. That's not the same thing." His father gave a derisive snort. "Effort alone doesn't grant privilege. Family choices do. And we've chosen Lily for the trip." The atmosphere seemed to thin. "Dad," Daniel replied deliberately, "Maya covered every cent on her own. You hold zero authority over how she spends her earnings." His mother reclined with a self-assured air. "Oh, but we do. She always obeys us. Maya at last raised her gaze, shimmering, wounded, nearly defeated. That look of surrender ignited something fierce in Daniel. His palm struck the tabletop. Enough. Everyone startled. His parents gaped, astonished. You no longer decide anything for her. And you certainly won't dictate what I'm about to say next. His parents stiffened, their faces caught between indignation and shock. His mother finally stammered, "What in the world has gotten into you tonight?" Daniel kept his volume steady, he had no need to shout. "What's wrong is that for 18 years you've regarded my daughter as expendable. And tonight you assumed she'd remain quiet while you reassigned her ambition to someone who has accomplished nothing." His father pointed sharply at Maya. "She ought to take pride in stepping aside for the family. Lily requires this journey more." Maya released a small, shattered chuckle, the sound of someone who had exhausted every tear long before. That moment Daniel delivered the decisive blow. "Mom. Dad. Maya isn't your fallback option. She's my daughter. And from this point forward, you will have no voice in her life, because you will no longer be included in it." Silence blanketed the table. His mother's complexion faded. What are you implying?" Daniel regarded them with a composure that chilled even me. "I'm declaring you severed from us, from Maya, from our household, from any authority you imagine you possess." His mother lurched upright. "You wouldn't dare." But Daniel remained unmoved. "I already have. And that brings me to something you should examine." He drew an envelope from his jacket pocket and set it on the table as though it carried immense weight. His parents stared at the packet, then at him. Bewilderment swiftly twisted into dread. But before he unsealed it, a transformation stirred inside me. All night I had soaked up the ache, the shame of seeing my daughter diminish before those meant to cherish her. My hands shook beneath the table. I kept reliving Maya's fragile, quivering frame, how she had normalized the mistreatment because, for so long, I had permitted it. That truth stung worse than any insult they had uttered. Yet suffering follows its own cadence, it crests, then recedes. In the aftermath came a precise, icy clarity. Daniel wasn't alone in refusing to shield their egos anymore. I rested a firm palm against Maya's spine. She met my eyes, red-rimmed, tear-streaked, breathing uneven. "Darling," I murmured, "you no longer need to shrink." Her mouth trembled. "I only wanted to avoid trouble." "You're not the trouble," I told her. "They are." Daniel glanced over, startled by the iron in my tone, an iron I hadn't realized I owned. Then, as if we'd coordinated without words, he inclined his head and pushed the envelope toward his parents. "Open it." His mother's fingers quivered as she complied. Inside lay the opening strike of our response, and none of them were prepared. She hesitated, then ripped the seal with unsteady hands. A lone document emerged, formal, embossed, irrefutable. Her gaze raced over the text, widened, then locked. What is this?" she breathed. Daniel crossed his arms. "It's the official notification stripping you both of any secondary guardianship or financial oversight concerning Maya. Permanently." His father let out a harsh, mocking laugh. "You can't simply erase us from the family." Daniel leaned in, his voice low and lethal. "You erased yourselves long ago." I observed their expressions collapse, but I had more to deliver, not after years of diminishing Maya's aspirations, praising Lily's idleness, and forcing my child into competition with everyone. So I guided my own envelope across the table. His mother's lips twitched. "Another one?" "Indeed," I replied gently. "This belongs to me." She grabbed it, tore it open in fury, and grew even paler. You froze the college savings?" I offered a smile, not vicious, but conclusive. "No. I relocated every cent. Any funds you contributed now sit in a trust solely in Maya's name. You can't touch a single dollar. Daniel added, and Lily never will either. His parents glanced between us, horrified as reality sank in. We had sealed every entrance. We raised you better, his mother hissed. Daniel shook his head. No. You raised me to submit. He gestured toward Maya, taught me to stand up. Their faces blanched. Then Maya rose and spoke words none of us anticipated. Maya eased her chair away, deliberate and composed, as though reassembling every fractured part of herself. Her voice emerged quietly, no need for volume. I'm not surrendering Paris, she declared, hands unsteady yet chin high. And I'm not surrendering my self-respect just so Lily can feel important for once. Her grandmother gasped, affronted. How dare you address us that way, Maya interrupted, a sudden fire blazing in her gaze. No. How dare you address me as though I'm inferior to Lily, as though my ambitions are irrelevant, as though my hard work is open for barter. Daniel watched her, pride visibly easing his features. Maya faced her grandfather next. You never inquire what I desire. You simply announce what Lily requires. But I'm not her substitute. I'm not your offering. Their muteness spoke volumes. Relief loosened something inside my ribs. Then Maya met Daniel's parents directly, unflinching. You need to go. Not merely from this home, but from my existence. You no longer have permission to wound me. Her statement struck like lightning. His mother wavered, speechless. His father shoved his seat back, features contorted. This isn't finished, he threatened. But for the first time, Maya showed no fear. She breathed. They surged toward the exit, but as they pulled the door open, an unforeseen figure waited. Daniel's parents halted on the threshold, their rage dissolving into something almost fearful, almost vulnerable. Outside, lightly misted by night rain, stood Lily's father. His face was taut, jaw set, eyes moving from them to us to Maya. Good, he said icily. I intercepted you before you left. He entered uninvited. Daniel's mother attempted to regain poise. Oh, thank heavens you're here. They're trying to divide the entire, he lifted a palm. Enough. Just stop. The space stilled once more. He looked to Maya, his tone gentling. I learned what occurred. Lily told me, she's weeping in the car right now. The mention of lawyers had been wielded like a blade. His words dropped heavily. Daniel's parents tensed, indignant. Lily needs this getaway more, no, he cut in sharply. Lily needs limits. And so do you. You need accountability. I traded a stunned look with Daniel. He pressed on, gaze sharpening toward his in-laws. You've controlled every ceremony, every celebration, every achievement for years. But attempting to steal Maya's prize? That's my limit. Daniel's mother sputtered, You're siding with them? I'm siding with the only young person here who truly earned her reward. Then he addressed Maya. Go to Paris. Hold your head high. And if you ever require assistance, reach out to me, not them. Maya blinked, astonished, and, for the first time that evening, a genuine smile appeared. Daniel wrapped an arm around her shoulders. I clasped her hand. At the doorway, humiliated and trapped, his parents muttered one final threat, You'll regret this. But we felt no regret. Because when the door closed, softly, perfectly, irrevocably, we at last had a family that shielded our daughter instead of safeguarding their egos.
Craving shocking revenge, chilling horror, and jaw-dropping relationship drama? If you love revenge, horror, and jaw-dropping relationship stories straight from Reddit, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Reddit Tales Time, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. More twists, more drama, more tales, coming up next.